All right, I think I'm on now. Hi, everyone. If you are just joining me, my name is Alexandra Papazian, and I am the Education and Community Engagement Manager for Ballet Arizona. It's a little bit before 5, it's about 4:59. I'm just gonna let people trickle into the live stream for a minute or two before we get started. If you are just popping into the live stream or coming up on the video, please drop me a comment or an emoji and let me know that you're here. Hey, Ellen and Chris. Glad to see that some people are here watching with me. We've got about 14 people on right now. But again, I'm going to give people a couple minutes to trickle in here because I know it's just after work now. For anyone who was following up with Governor Ducey's press announcement today, he did extend the stay-at-home order to May 15th. If anyone was following that, please reach out and do your own research as to what that means for you and the businesses and the places that you frequent. But just a little update for everyone. Hi, Hannah. Good to see you. For anyone watching, this is really meant to be an open forum sort of concept. I really encourage that you should all just drop a question into the comment box and send that to me as you think of it. I will answer questions all the way through the live stream. I'll also tell you a lot about Ballet Arizona's community engagement work and what we stand for here in Arizona as well. So you'll get lots of information from me, but please, if you have any questions at all, drop them in the comment box and I will be sure to check those as we go through the stream today. I'm going to give everyone about 1 more minute to catch up here and we'll get going. Is everyone having a good week so far? I know we're about 2 months into quarantine. How's everyone doing? I know I'm starting to get a little stir crazy myself, but at the same time, I feel like I've hit a little bit of a stride working from home. All right. So I'm going to get started. Again, for anyone who is just joining us, my name is Alexandra Papazian, and I'm the Education and Community Engagement Manager for Ballet Arizona. I'll give you a little bit of background about myself before we get into the nitty-gritty of what I do here with the company. But I started out with the School of Ballet Arizona when I was about 5 years old. We had just moved here from New Jersey. My mom put me in the school. I think it was around 1998 or 1999. It was pretty early on. And I graduated from the school when I was 18. I went all the way through all of the levels. I absolutely fell in love with ballet. And it was something that I really enjoyed pursuing as a child. I feel like it really helped me develop as a person. It helped me understand myself and how I related to my world and what my place was in it and how to move about it and interact with all these people that were coming in and out of my life. And I really wanted to pursue that professionally. So after that, I took a year off in between high school and college. I took a gap year and I went to Pittsburgh Ballet Theatre's graduate program. And I spent a year training there. I did some auditions for some companies. I did some auditions for some colleges. And I ended up going to Butler University for a year in their dance program as a dance major. Fun fact, Elise Salish in our development department graduated from Butler University and we were there together for 1 year. But after a year, I decided that I wanted to move back home and pursue other interests. I still wanted to do dance, just not as a profession and certainly not pursue it as my major in college. It was just not the path that was meant for me, although I did enjoy my time studying it. I came back to Arizona. I pursued finance first, but then I ended up switching into business communications at ASU. I worked in the Starbucks College Education Program. I got my degree through there, and I danced locally in companies, Terps Core Dance Company, who is no longer performing, but they were for a couple years in the Valley. And then just about 2 years ago, I came on board the Ballet Arizona team. and community engagement with then ballet master and community engagement manager Joseph. And we worked together for about half a year, and then I have been the manager of the department since. It is an amazing thing to be in community engagement, to be able to talk about the art form that inspired me to be him, that has carried me all the way through this journey and will continue to carry me forward. And it is something that I can talk at length about. So let's get started and let's dive in. And yes, Colleen, Butler is a very beautiful campus. It's funny, Butler's in the middle of Indiana, so you wouldn't think that something that beautiful could exist there, but it certainly does, and I do miss that campus. So Ballet Arizona, to give you a little bit of background, we were founded in 1986 from a merger of 3 different companies. There were 3 different ballet companies in Arizona back then, and they were all struggling to make things work. And in order to survive and push forward, they merged together to form what is now Ballet Arizona. They had some years of building and rebuilding, and Ebe Anderson came to the Valley in 1999, and since then he has taken the company to new heights. We have, just hit milestone after milestone under Ebe's leadership, and it is amazing to see where our company has gone since the late 90s to now, almost 20 years later. In that time, Ballet Arizona has always been dedicated to preserving classical dance, to celebrating classical and contemporary ballet, and to making sure that the community is as involved with that as they can be. Our mission is to teach, create, and perform outstanding classical and contemporary ballet, and to serve our communities through superior educational and outreach programs. And it's really fitting that community outreach and education and engagement is woven into our mission, because that is what makes Ballet Arizona alive, and that's what makes us relevant in the community. We have so many opportunities to touch people's lives every year, and we have so many different programs and different opportunities for people to engage with the art form. And I'd love to start telling you a little bit about that and sort of how I like to frame some of those things. When I talk about the work that we do in community engagement, I think of them in sort of 3 different buckets. There's the education bucket, the engagement bucket, and the impact bucket. And so for education, I really think that that's sort of the very first point for people. If you've never been to the ballet, if you haven't had any ballet experience in your life, it's educating the community about the art form itself. It's sort of dispelling that myth that ballet is not for me. It's showing people exactly how they can relate to the art form in one way or another, and giving people that opportunity and that safe space to interact with the art form in their own way when they first come and see the ballet. And then for the engagement arm, that's where I think of Ballet Arizona taking it one step further. And I think that getting people to experience the ballet as an audience member is really the step. And then once you experience ballet as an audience member and you feel comfortable watching the ballet, that you understand it, all of those things, then taking it one step further and engaging with our community either as a volunteer, as a donor, taking a ballet class, coming to a rehearsal viewing, something that gives you a little bit more perspective. So there is that perspective of watching from the stage, but that is always the most polished and presented perspective, and there's a lot more that happens behind the scenes to put all that together. So the engagement arm, I think, is all those programmings that help you take it a step further, peel back some of the layers, and see all of the work that goes into presenting. And then the impact arm is really trying to break down some of those barriers that exist in the community to participation, to understanding, to feeling like you're accepted and welcome. And it's the programs that allow us to make the greatest difference in people's lives. Ellen asks, if you could describe your position, responsibilities in 3 words, what would they be? Well, educate, engage, and impact, actually, we got to that. So those are my 3 words. As far as some of the programs that we do, I'll go through them a couple at a time, and I'll just tell you a little bit about some of my favorites. Everyone knows, I think, about the Ballet Under the Stars program that happens in the fall. It is our season kickoff. It's our very first thing that we do back after the summer, and it is a partner series of free performances. We are one of the only ballet companies in the United States who does this. There may be a couple more that I discovered in the last year, but we are definitely one of a few, if not the only. And it's a very special program for me because it has been something that I've been able to go to all my life, from a student in the School of Ballet Arizona to an adult transitioning between worlds to someone who now works for the ballet. It's something that's been a constant in my life, and to see that this program has lasted this long and it's touched so many people's lives, and thousands have come out every single year to see it. It's an amazing thing to see that gathering. I've been in lots of meetings and in lots of conferences with people all over the country right now who are reeling from the effects of this COVID-19 situation. And the one common thread that keeps popping up is that dance and ballet is all about the gathering. It's all about the connection, and it's about that human interaction. It's understanding people on a human level. It's giving people a chance to express their humanity to you. And I think Ballet Under the Stars is the program that really allows that to happen in a natural, organic, and less threatening way. It's in the park, it's free. You can bring your picnic, you can bring any friends, pets. You can hang out with your friends and stay for half of it, and then you can arrive late. So it sort of really breaks down all of those traditional theater barriers that some people might experience if they've never been to a theater before, and it's really awesome. We also try to present a different selection of all of the ballets and works we do during the year. So we try to present something classical, something contemporary, something from one of our up-and-coming choreographers in the company or from Eve. I try to give people the breadth of what we do as a company artistically as well, so that they really can step their toe in one little bit at a time. Again, let me just be a good host and remind everyone that if you have any questions at any time, please put them into the chat, type them in, and I will get to them as soon as I see them pop up. At Ballet Under the Stars also, we have a set program that runs that is my favorite, and I think community favorite every year as well. There is a program in our arsenal called Class Act, and it is a program where we go to partner schools in every one of our parks cities that we're going to perform in, and our company dancers work with the students at those schools to choreograph a dance, which is presented at a park show for their community, not just for their friends and family, but for their community as a whole, everyone who lives around them and comes to see that particular show. And it is one of the most heartwarming things I've ever seen. The students every year are so excited to be a part of it. The school partners love this program. They are so excited to bring us every year. And it's amazing to see sort of the current generation of dancers working with that next generation, inspiring them to can do more, showing them what it is to have that dancer work ethic, how to put things together, how to think creatively and work strategically with the team, and to give them that confidence to perform together in front of that many people, most of those kids for the first time. It is amazing. And to see the process from start to finish, I just wish everyone could see that, because I get to go to the schools on day one and see these kids who have never danced ever, just a mess and running around and crazy, and just the process of getting them all to perform together on stage. They all manage to pull it out at the end every year. It's perfect, it's beautiful, and it only happens in 3 hours. The kids only do that over 3 days, and it's a whirlwind, but it really shows you what the power of dance is and how it can affect people just instantaneously. A program that we also do throughout the year is a student matinee program. We do matinees for some of our productions, 3 storybook productions. We have a fall storybook, we have the Nutcracker production, which is our most popular, and then we have the spring storybook production. And we offer student matinees as an opportunity for students in schools and senior centers to be able to access performance in the theater setting at a reasonable and discounted cost, because we do know that it's important to make sure those financial barriers are addressed. We have a discount for Title I students in schools. The prices for students and adults are much cheaper than regular tickets. And we also, they are in full costume. We do 1 full act of the production or partial act of the production. And there's an opportunity for the students to get to see the dancers warming up They get to see the stage prep and the stage set beforehand, and then they talk to the dancers in a Q&A format before the production or directly after. So it's an opportunity to see the live art form, but also get a little bit of behind the scenes information about what it's like to be a performer on the stage, what goes into being a dancer, what goes into setting everything up for the performance, and these kids really walk away with an experience of a lifetime. What surprised you the most about taking on this education and community engagement position at the organization? So that question, a lot of things surprised me, but I think the thing that was most surprising was how much work we do during the year, how many programs we have that are running all the time each season. It's really quite astounding how many we have. I've been working to create plans for the future of our programs and kind of future forecasting, but in doing all of that work, we have about 15 discrete programs that we run every single year with a department of 1.5. So, while our department is pretty small in terms of staff dedicated to education community, it really takes a village, and everyone in the administration, in the artistic staff, on the dancers, in the dancers ranks, everyone works hard to get these programs off the ground and to really come together to support our communities and support our children and everyone who our programs touch. So, with 15 programs, we are doing lots and lots of work in the community. And our hope is to grow more and do more each year. Something that we have just recently started is the Dance AZ program. It sort of began as an offshoot of the Class Act program. It's the one where the kids perform at Ballet Under the Stars. Dance AZ is meant to be a longer form version of that. We've had 2 years of it. It's a longer school residency format, so we partner with, right now we have 6 school partners in the Valley, and we partner with them to offer kids after-school dance lessons twice a week at their school location. Because one of the other barriers that we often hear about and want to address is the fact that children need assistance with transportation. Sometimes parents take off work to come and bring their child to dance lessons or shuttle them around. So we want to ensure that kids who don't have the option of traveling do have dance at their schools and readily available to them. This program in its 3rd year next season, so we just finished the year, has really been eye-opening as to, again, the power that dance can have on students and how it can transform their lives and transform their thinking. We have partnered with Title I schools and underserved communities to bring this program to them. We really have seen a huge growth in the students, both physically and mentally and emotionally as they go through this program. So they get about 24 hours of dance lessons over the year. They also get to perform in a final performance, so they're working towards that performance element. And they get mentoring from our teaching artists, because the groups will be pretty small, less than 10 students, 15 to 10 students per class, as we've been working with for the last 2 years. And it's just astounding the changes that you see with these students when they're given a little bit of hope, when they're given authentic engagement with their teachers, when they're given the opportunity to explore how they can communicate, how they can present themselves, and how they can work with others in a team environment. So it's amazing to see these kids who often come in with lots of stress, lots of baggage, received ideas about who they are, just sort of open their doors and open their horizons and discover what more they can be and more exists for them out there. It's astounding. I see a question here. Can you speak a little about what someone expect when attending the pre-chat for a ballet or performance? Yes, absolutely. So our pre-chats, we have a series that happens for our main stage productions. We have 2 pre-performance chats and 1 post-performance chat for all of our productions that occur in the theater. So that would be our Director's Choice or our contemporary program, our Fall Storybook, Nutcracker, our Spring Storybook, and our Valentine. So that excludes the park series and it excludes Desert Botanical Garden. But this chat series, what it's meant to do is inform patrons and audience members about the works that they're going to see in that evening's production or that afternoon's production, and give them a little insight to the artistic aspects of the program. Sometimes we have special guests. We try to have somebody who represents the artistic there with me to answer questions and to provide unique insights about the program. We have dancers who are in the production. Sometimes we have the choreographers come out and talk a little bit about their pieces. And sometimes we have members of the staff who have created unique pieces for the production team, costuming. We try to provide a little bit of that experience as well. But really, they're meant to be another open forum opportunity for people to ask questions and to have a little bit of perspective, either before they're watching the show or to gain a little perspective after they watch the show. One of the most important things that I think about when I go see a show is how I feel after I'm done watching it, or I felt while I was watching it. Something that I've noticed is that sometimes things will give me a very visceral reaction. I will, either be so excited and so moved and have loved it so much, or I will have, I really didn't like that. It just didn't rub me the right way. It just felt wrong. I just didn't enjoy that. And when I have those extreme reactions to things, it really gives me pause to think about why. And I think that that's something a lot of audience members can forget, especially if they have a negative visceral reaction to seeing something. That doesn't mean that the performance was bad. It doesn't mean that, there was nothing to be gained from it. It just means that something touched something new. And that's on the work of the audience member to try and understand. It's on them to, sort of look deeper and think about the work really deeply and say, what was it that triggered me? And then maybe think about why that triggered you. And it's an opportunity to learn about yourself. And it's an opportunity to learn about, maybe your views and your perspectives. Sometimes those views and perspectives can change if you discover something like that. Sometimes they don't. And that's well. I'm not saying you have to change your mind and then like it. But I think that's my thing about the performance chat series is that often somebody will have a visceral reaction to something and ask a question about it. And it's an opportunity to give you a perspective about whatever it was that happened on stage. And I think that's a really cool thing, to think that deeply about a work and to feel that way about a work, regardless of whether it made you feel really good or really bad. But some more of the technical details of that program. Performance chats are Thursday evening and Friday evening. They happen 45 minutes before the show starts. And the post-performance chat is the Saturday matinee of each performance run. One happens immediately following the show. As soon as the curtain goes down, people start to leave. If you're staying for the post-performance chat, you come directly to the center. You want to move seats and get closer to the stage, but we have them on the stage versus in the house before the show. And again, those are to ticket holders. So if you have a ticket for that show and you want to attend the chat, please just attend. We would love to have you. Are there online resources for kids who can't attend classes in these COVID times? Yes, there are online resources right now. Our School of Ballet Arizona has been closed. We've been following the stay-at-home order guidelines from Governor Ducey here in Arizona, and our school has been following the school shutdown as well here in Arizona. But as far as students who are currently enrolled in the school, our school staff is working to provide them Zoom classes online. They are doing live instruction for students still. There are also always school resources. There are some study guides and some information documents associated with our student matinee series that teachers can access all the time, 24/7 on our website. It's under the community engagement sort of tag on the look at the header. And then we also are working to provide social media experiences for children and families through our Facebook and through our Instagram. We've been doing live streams on YouTube each weekend of past performances. So we are trying to keep audience engaged that way, and make sure that we are providing the art form for people in this time who aren't able to make a theater because we aren't allowed to perform in the theater yet. And one of the things that is so important to remember is that in these times of hardship, it's really the arts that get us through. It's the arts that remind us that there's hope, that there's light at the end of the tunnel, and it's our connection to other humans that helps us weather. So it's really important. And I think that Ballet Arizona and the School of Ballet Arizona and everything that we can to make sure that we remind people that there's an end and that we're all together. Chris asks, what is a little known secret about your department? Ooh, secret. Try not to keep any secrets. I feel like I just throw it all out there. Let me think about that one. I mean, a little known secret, I try not to make it a secret. I try to tell everyone. I think a little known secret about the Education and Community Engagement Department is that we are working with 1.5 people. So as far as dedicated staff to education and community engagement, I am the manager, and I have an assistant. Her name is Claire. She's lovely, and she helps me with everything. She's a great assistant. But we are running 15 programs for Ballet Arizona with 1.5 actual Ballet Arizona staff. I do have teaching artists that assist with some of the programs. We do utilize dancers and the company heavily for some of our performance programs as well. But we are a tiny little powerhouse that is working as hard as we can to get all of this stuff off the ground and into the community. So as much as we're working hard, I know that the community supports us as well, and we are so grateful for all of the support that you show to Arizona and to our community engagement team. It certainly would not happen without all of you, and we want to celebrate that too, because we're working hard, as are you, to bring these things to the community. I had a question. What is my favorite program to work on? My favorite program to work on is my favorite program to work on is the Class Act program, honestly. That one, it's a very tiny whirlwind, but again, it is so indicative of the power of dance. You don't need to do dance for your entire life for it to touch. You can just do it 3 times, perform once, and you are a changed person. You know more about yourself, you know a lot more about your world, and it's just a really amazing opportunity for those kids. I wish that it happened to me when I was in school, but thankfully my parents put me in dance and I was able to experience that. But it makes me happy to see the joy on those students' faces when they finish their performance and they know that they've done something huge like that. It's wonderful to see the confidence it inspires in kids. And then another question, what brought me to education and community engagement? That one's an interesting question too. I think if you had asked me when I was, a teenager, what did I want to do? I probably would not have said this. It probably wouldn't have even been on my radar. I think that just speaks to an experience and not knowing where life was taking me at that point. If you always look back at my collection of history and experience, and though I'm relatively young, I feel like I've had a hand in a lot of different areas, and they've all sort of seemed to swirl around this education and community engagement field. So all of my random of experiences have somehow brought me into this and have somehow prepared me well to be in this world, and it's something that I love doing. I don't think I wake up in the morning ever and say, oh my gosh, I wish I didn't have to do that today. This is something that I'm really passionate about, and again, to be able to speak about ballet, to be able to tell people about it, to show them the impact that it can make on people's lives is such a joy and such a gift for me, as an opportunity to give that art form that gave so much to me. What program is exciting the 2020-21 season? We have a lot of interesting programs. One of the ones that I have been so excited for is Twyla Tharp. So we are bringing back the golden section from Twyla. We performed it a very long time ago. I don't know how many years ago off the top of my head. I should probably know that, but I'd have to look it up. But it was 5 or 6 years ago. And I remember seeing it live. I didn't know that that's what I just happened to go to a show with a friend, and it was just the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. It was music by David Byrne. They were in these gorgeous gold 80s inspired costumes. The movements were so athletic and so full of vigor and life, and it was unlike anything I had ever seen before. And so that I just remember being so inspired after I watched that performance that I wanted to go out and immediately dance and flail around and release all of my extra energy, because it just inspired so many things creatively to bubble up inside of me that I felt like I wanted to be up there dancing with them. And I really think that that's a piece that is going to wow audiences in our 2021 season. We are doing Sinatra Suite. We're doing a brand new piece to Juan Gabriel that's really exciting. I'm excited to see what he does with his choreography for that. That is one that is going to be a world premiere, and also it's a really interesting opportunity to be innovative and to touch our population in a new way with new music and new choreography. And I mean, of course, I always look forward to Nutcracker. I know some people don't, but having performed in Ballet Arizona's Nutcracker for something like 12 to 15 years in a row, life, it's sort of, like Stockholm syndrome almost. Like it's not Christmas if the Nutcracker isn't present. It's really not Christmas if Ballet Arizona's Nutcracker is not present, because I've been away for other Nutcrackers and it just didn't seem like Christmas for Ballet Arizona. Will there be more library lectures coming up once? Yes, the plan is that once we are able to return to some semblance of normal, we will attempt to return to most of the normal programming that we have during the season. As with everything right now, there is a lot of uncertainty. We are not sure what the future holds quite yet. We are working with state officials and leadership in the organization and cultural leadership across the state to sort of just think and plan and stay together during this time. I know we just got the stay-at-home order announcement from Governor Ducey that we are continuing on until May 15th. I think, just like everyone else, we're working a couple weeks at a time. The plan is to have more library lectures if we're able to, and if things reopen. If in the instance that we are still dealing with some sort of abnormal situation where we are in hybrid mode, we'll try to offer something virtually. I would encourage all of you who are watching, if you have thoughts about that or if you have any requests to make, please email them to us at questions@balletaz.org. You can type them into the chat. I will get them one way or another, but please reach out to us and let us know your ideas. I'm always looking for more input from the community, so any input from you all is appreciated as well. You guys have awesome questions. Does anyone have any questions? If you do, please type them into the chat and I will make sure to respond as they pop up. Such a wonderful audience. Something that I think is really exciting about Ballet Arizona is that we do value community engagement, and we do always work to engage as much as possible and to do as much as possible with every member of our community, and we're always finding new ways to innovate, not only on the stage, but also in our programming and in our administration. We did have a library lecture series this last year, and we've received quite a bit of good feedback about that. If you don't know what the library lecture series is, we were going to a couple libraries around Phoenix and Tempe. We also did a couple Changing Hands bookstore in Phoenix. One of our lovely community members Leona Aiken, who is a professor emerita at ASU, has been presenting at those. She has a background in ballet and also an academic background as well, so she offers quite an educational option, a passionate one as well. And the library lecture series is meant to be sort of that precursor opportunity to learn about the show before you get to maybe the pre-performance chat. Those ones really dive in depth into the material. So for our All Balanchine series, Leona dives really deep into the history of George Balanchine's life so that you can understand the life of the choreographer, his trajectory, all of the experiences that made him into who he was when he began choreographing and brought ballet to the United States. That's really an important thing to understand when we say, he's the father of American ballet. He's very important. He's a huge figure in ballet, and not only American ballet, but worldwide ballet. But to understand huge long history gives you a deep perspective as to what some of his works are, why it's important that we do them every year and keep up his legacy, and things like that. So, depending on the production, you'll get insights into the choreographer, you'll get insights into the rehearsal process. You might get to talk to some dancers about what their process is like, what it was like to maybe revisit the ballet if it's one that they've done again or a role that they're revisiting. And it's another layer, again, for the active building. Tell us how your passion for ballet has impacted your life. Well, let's start at the beginning. I wouldn't say I was really passionate as a child. I was sort of just a kid in a dance class my mom made me go to. And I didn't dislike it, but I wouldn't say I loved it until I grew up a little bit. I did make lots of friends. It was something that gave me structure, and it was something that helped me kind of plan my day, plan my interactions, and as a child, it really helped me develop the work ethic, I think, and it helped me develop my ability to it helped me develop my ability to manage different tasks, manage my life, and make sure that everything was running smoothly. But I would say that it didn't for me into a passion until I was a teenager, because I had a moment where I didn't want to continue ballet when I was 13 or 14. It was that really tough age where kids sort of start to think about, well, should I do something else or should I continue? And I really thought long and hard about it, and it was something that allowed me to figure out who I was, how I interact with things, in learning about my body and in learning how to use my body and how to think very deeply about very small things having to do with my physicality, having to do with the emotions that you portray with your body, having to think about your appearance and your projection and the detail and the hard work, having to think very carefully and hard about those things every single day. It just gives me way more opportunities to apply that to the rest of my life. So you have to do all of that really detailed, in focused thinking just in your ballet world, to think about all of those things in your trajectory in ballet as well, but to apply that sort of detailed thinking to the rest of your life. And how am I approaching my schoolwork? And what do I want out of my future? And am I happy? How do I make myself happy? All of those things that sort of sometimes can get shoved because we're too busy to think about. I think that that's what ballet gave me as a skill. And it's really let me experience things differently and really make sure that I'm making decisions I can stand behind. Ballet for me, when I watch it, is sometimes it lets me feel free from some of the stresses that I have in my life. It makes some of the ordinary, trivial things that I deal with on a day-to-day basis very small, because I'm watching something so grand and something so beautiful. Sometimes I watch some of the more poignant contemporary pieces. It makes me think about maybe stressful things in my life and how to react to them, and how am I relating to them, and could it be different? I really feel like dance and ballet has given me an opportunity to think very deeply about some of the things most ordinary people would not think about or would choose to not think about. And that's something that ballet is really amazing for. Let's see, I've talked so much about all of our different programs. Something that we do every year, it started out with just Nutcracker, but it has expanded to be at all of the main stage productions season, is Community Angel Night. Some people don't know about this program, and it is, again, a really awesome opportunity for people in the community to be able to have access to this art form in order to think deeply about their lives and to think about, you know, their futures, and to experience escapism and to experience hope and love and all of those things. Our community night for Nutcracker, we donate one entire evening's worth of seats to social service organizations and struggling families and individuals in our community. So one entire performance is donated for free to the community. We bring people over 60 service organizations to the ballet to experience the Nutcracker at the house with their families. And it's amazing to hear stories of what these people are experiencing, and to hear in the live theater setting with their family has, you know, reached their hope, has given them a bit of peace from whatever it is that they're dealing with, and just to hear the gratitude for the experience, it's amazing, and it really does touch people's lives. There is a misconception that live performance is some vain and for vanity's sake, that's always true. I think it can be true, but I think that live performance, a lot of learning opportunities for people who attend live performance. There are a lot of things you can feel, even if you're not trying. And it's a really amazing opportunity for people to have access to that, you know, and have opportunities to learn themselves, to think deeper, and to experience something, to feel. Sometimes we just need a little help feeling. How can we bring or encourage this passion to our students in the Valley? That's a hard question. Ballet is very strict and very dedicated. You need to have a very strong work ethic in order to do it. And bringing that to students can be challenging sometimes. I think that definitely experiencing live performance is the first thing that will help students break down some of the barriers. There's a lot of students unknowingly or unwittingly do practice dance in their lives. TikTok has existed, and we all know that our students and children are doing TikToks and watching other people do TikToks. And if you're not familiar with a TikTok, it's a 30-second or less video of you doing dance moves to a poppy song or a voiceover or whatever. And it's both amazing that they have the access to something like that and that it's become so mainstream, and it's also awful and terrible because it's so short-minded, it's so short-sighted. The attention span is not longer than 30 seconds. They just want to do it really quickly and have it. They want to put it on social media and have people like it and be done. So there's not a lot of thought that goes into it from a deeper perspective. It is really cool that a lot of students are accessing dance in that way right now. I think, again, that live performance aspect is really the best way to show them the bigger picture, that there is more than just 30 seconds of dance that goes into being a professional dancer. There are other opportunities if you want to be a professional dancer. And I think explaining them that, you know, TikTok is fine, and doing little snippets of dance here and there, and freestyling and being creative with your movements, all of that is fine, and we want to encourage that because of the creativity of it. But in students, that they should think about, you know, how can they get better at things? How can they make it more? How can we get more out? And encouraging them to just think bigger than just that one social media post, or encouraging them to think just a little bit bigger than that one act of a ballet that they saw. There's to it. There's more, and sort of enticing them that way. Do you want to learn about the other aspect? Do you want to know exactly what goes into it? Things like that. I think also relating to things in their lives and making it relatable to them is a big deal as well. Ballet can be really intimidating, even to adults, because it's an art form that came from kings, another country. So to really work hard, I think, to relate it to their circumstances and make it something that they access from the experiences that they have. So, finding out what they care about, finding out what is meaningful to them, and focusing on those aspects of whatever it is, and sort of trying to draw those connections and shape those connections for them, I think is a really important thing, because that's how people find what they like about ballet is through personal human connections. So you can talk to your blue in the face about how much hard work and effort goes into it and why should you work hard and all that stuff, but if you haven't touched the human connection that they have, you won't cook. So it's about finding that connection to them and their experiences are. Does anyone else have any other questions for me? Let's see if I have any here. I think the last to say before we get off here is that Ballet Arizona is our ballet company. We are here to support you in the community. We are here to be a beacon of hope, to be a place where you experience connection, experience human interaction, kindness, and there are so many different ways to get involved with our organization. You can volunteer for any of our community and education and engagement programs. You can volunteer to help us in the administrative offices. You can volunteer to help us at our shows, in ushering and in box office. And there are just so many ways to get involved with our community. Just even beyond becoming a donor, which of course we always encourage that as well. But if that's not in your cards, think about joining our community, coming to the stars, learning more about us, because there are definitely lots of opportunities to become part of our family beyond just the financial aspect of becoming a donor. So if you're interested in learning more about that, visit our website, www.balletaz.org. You can always reach out to us via our socials. You can call into our box office or school to learn more about our upcoming season and to learn more about the school. I'm always available as well through the community engagement portal. But again, thank you all so much for joining us this afternoon. I'm so glad to be able to speak to you about what we do in the community. It's such an amazing thing. Yeah, Amy said, you can even just mention us to your friends and family if you enjoyed what you saw here today, or if you enjoyed a performance, just telling people about us and the word out there, because we are a ballet company. We are Arizona's ballet company, but sometimes people don't always know that we're here. So just helping us get there and helping spread our message is, one small way you can help. So thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of the afternoon. Enjoy cooling weather. It's almost sun, so you might be able to go outside and take a nice walk with that. But I will see you guys all soon. Again, please join us next Wednesday. We will have our guest at 5 p.m. To talk a little bit about another aspect of organization here on Facebook Live at 5 p.m. And week.